Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike, the intern, Ned Reynolds, back in the studio Monday morning. Your thoughts on the game yesterday, sir?
Really felt like in this game, Mahomes felt the losses of Worthy and Rice more than anybody else. His receiving core, quite frankly, is not up to par, and it was mistakes that really hurt the Chiefs. And, you know, these things are going to happen. The breaks in the game, Kansas City got some, but Philadelphia also got some and made the most of it. And it appeared to me as if Mahomes is really having trouble picking out the credible receivers that he has out there. And he does have some. Hollywood Brown was just moderate. Kelce, good gracious sake, Travis Kelce, he got that big play that he gave up the football down the goal line. That was a key. That was a momentum swinger for Philadelphia. And this is a game between two teams. It could have gone either way. It was the breaks that made the decision. Philadelphia wins at 2017, but only because Kansas City made those key mistakes. He has to have, he being Mahomes, and the Chiefs, they have to get those guys back in there. But I question whether or not Worthy is ready. He couldn't play this week. Now, you have 6 days to get a dislocated shoulder. Well, yeah, actually 2 weeks to get that repaired. That may be a bit of a stretch, but we'll see. But Rice, there's nothing you're going to do about that. He's out for 4 more games after this, and that does hurt. Nonetheless, I thought Kansas City played well. They stopped Saquon Barkley. They stopped, for the most part, Hurts. Hurts had 101 yards in passing. He also had a number of good yards rushing. But there's another problem with Kansas City, in my opinion, their rushing game. You had Hunt and Pacheco back there, and they combined at 53 yards. The leading rushers, Mahomes, 66 yards. That's an imbalance that has to be corrected. You were there. What are your
thoughts? Butker makes that goal. Tie ball game. We go to overtime. The break in the touchdown, Kelce basically deflecting into an interception was not good. I completely agree with Dan and Hughes 1,000%, and I know you're not going to like this, but the tush push should be gone. And the theory is that you cannot allow the defense to do anything to defend it. And you watch the line to gain. Last night, for example, you can see the Philadelphia Eagles collapse the line before the ball's even snapped. So the inconsistencies there, that's not calling the ball game at all, 1,000%. But that needs to be gone. And for whatever reason it's not, I don't understand it. But 1,000% agree with you on the receiving core, but there is some blame on Mahomes. He overthrew the ball several times yesterday. I do feel a lot better about the defense 1,000% because I felt like in Brazil they looked really sleepy. Yesterday there was a lot of fire, and that was good to see. And, ultimately I agree with you. It came down to the breaks, as it often does with teams like this, and you win some, you lose some. Hate starting the season 0-2, though, I'll tell you that much.
It's first time since 2014 that the Chiefs have started 0-2, but it's a little misleading. Both games the Chiefs could have and maybe should have won. They will win. I think they'll win big next Sunday night. But the fact of the matter remains they do need to get their game together. It's still a very good football team and certainly Super Bowl capable. And don't rush out on them now. They've got a long way to go. Hopefully they can keep free of injuries. I don't think they had any serious injuries yesterday. I did notice that Brown limped off the field, but then he came back in and played. So that was probably a Charlie horse. How hot was it up there?
Oh, man, goodness snakes. I couldn't even, you know what's funny? It must have just been a different humidity situation because last year when we had the Ravens game to open the season, I think it was either the Ravens or I couldn't remember, but it was so hot. This year it didn't feel as bad, but by the end of the day I felt like I was at Worlds of Fun all day and I just had this thick layer of sweat all over me. And as soon as I hit the door at my house last night, cold shower and felt amazing after that. So, you know what? Like I said, first 3 in a row loss for Mahomes ever, but it was good to be back home and good to see everyone yesterday. And just like last year, we won almost every game we won in the regular season was a game like that. And you know what? They're not always going to go in that column.
They did have a lot of luck last year, and you're right, that doesn't always follow through, but it's still a good team, and the Baltimore Ravens will be the next home game that they have, and that'll be a lot of fun.
So last week, Ned and I we got on the subject of, would you rather be too hot or would you rather be too cold? And Ned still, he does not like being cold. Well, you know what? How you feeling about that after Saturday, buddy?
Well, I'll still take the heat over the cold, but let me tell you where I was. I stand on the sidelines. That's where I like to be for the football games. And it's in the sun, and it was baking down there, and it was H-O-T. They listed the temperature at 93, more than that. That heat radiating off the artificial turf and the constant sun, and no place to sit down. O-U-C-H. But nonetheless, I thought the Missouri State Bears, we talked about this last week. There is no such thing in my book as a moral victory. You either win or lose.
That's the way it goes.
But there is such a thing as a credible loss. And I think the Bears had a very credible loss against Southern Methodist. Arguably the better team, and they've been D1 since, the 19 teens. Had great stars, Doak Walker, Kyle Rote, Don Meredith. These are all Southern Methodist individuals and a stockpile of good players. There's the difference. They've had the years to build their D1 whole roster of D1 players. The Bears haven't. Their depth is still not at that level. It will be in time. But the first unit, I thought, played a great game.
Yeah, I agree. When I got to Hammond's to set up, they were actually playing the game at the field, and I got to listen to better. And I was very impressed with where they were, especially, again, they just started playing these D1 teams, and what you get 30.
It catches up. You have let's see, they had 66 scholarships as an FCS team. You get 83. That's your max. And I'm sorry, not your max. That's your minimum. You can have 83. You can go up to 101 if you can afford it.
Yeah.
It's a college that gives the scholarships, and folks, that's money. Yep. Well, the Bears don't have that many, and therein lies the difference. They will in time. But to play a credible team like Southern Methodist and beat them, lose the game 28-10, ahead 10-0, and a chance to go up 17-14, have a pick in the end zone like the Chiefs had yesterday, it just comes back to haunt you. Nonetheless, this team's going to win some more games.
I think so, but hey, man, how was the crowd?
They called it 15,000. I think it fluctuated a little bit. It was not the full house, but there's a reason why, and I think the heat probably had something to do with it. You know, after all, you've got the lake to go to, or you can sit in your air-conditioned house or whatever. Still, 15,000 was a good crowd. Hopefully, it remains that way. The Bears are home this Saturday night coming up against Tennessee Martin, and they are an FCS team. Missouri State should win that one. Hope they do. We'll find out.
Missouri State Bears, you got a long road, but congratulations on another well-fought victory. Or not victory, but well-fought battle, excuse me. Who won the race in Tennessee on Saturday?
This was the Bass Pro Shops Racing at Night, and they had it at Bristol, Tennessee, and Christopher Bell got the win. And after the race, of course, 4 drivers are cut from those eligible to win the points championship. That doesn't mean they won't race anymore. Everybody races, but there are only a few drivers now, 12, who remain in the hunt for the for the points championship, and that'll be coming up, of course, later on. The field will be reduced incrementally from 16 to 12 to 8 and the 4 finalists, and that'll be out in Arizona later on in November. This week they race in New Hampshire. This is the second portion of the playoffs. Should be a lot of fun, but Christopher Bell gets the win.
So looking up the schedule for the Kansas City Chiefs next, they're doing Sunday Night Football in New York City against the Giants, who you might be sitting there going, it's Giants. They put up they put up 40 points yesterday?
No, 37.
But, I mean, close enough to me.
They lost 40-37, had the game won, and let it get away. These are two teams, and the Chiefs are going to play both of them. The Chiefs play Dallas on Thanksgiving Day. And Kansas City can win both those games, and I think they will in New York City. I can't see them losing 3 in a row. But now, we're blessed with 2 games tonight.
Yep, doubleheader, baby.
How does that happen? You know how it happens? Because the NFL can. That's why it happens.
Well, it's been going on for a few years.
Only once.
This year, doubleheaders?
This year, it's 4 times.
Yeah, wow.
They'll have this one. They have another one in about 3 or 4 weeks. All 2 games on a Monday night. Why? Again, because they can. And number 2, they give the lame excuse, and it is lame, that they're testing the audience to see which one gets the better ratings. Hey, gang, I've been in television 56 years. You don't use this kind of a trick to test your audiences. This is a lot of balderdash of getting more money.
Well, that's a big part of it, too. But also, if you think your game that's starting at 9 o'clock is going to have a lot more viewers than the one that starts earlier, I don't know what to tell you, but I don't think that's going to work out, Ned. Have a good day. I'll see you tomorrow.